Surprisingly, canned fish is not only nutritious but also eco-friendly. If you've been overlooking sardines, now's the moment to give them a try. They're small, but they're bursting with bold flavor. As the name suggests, canned sardines are simply sardines, small, oily fish that swim in schools and are found in plentiful numbers around the globe. Their name comes from the island of Sardinia in Italy, once a major center for sardine fishing. Although there are several types of sardines, it's often hard to distinguish between them once they're packed, especially since they're typically preserved in oil. They might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of classic Italian cuisine, but don't write them off, especially if you're a fan of anchovies or herring.
Morning. Care for sardine?
Although sardines and anchovies belong to the same broader family, they're not the same species. And once canned, their flavors couldn't be more different. That's largely because anchovies are salt-cured, while sardines are typically stored in olive oil, a nod to their Mediterranean roots. And just to clear things up, no, you can't swap one for the other in recipes, so make sure you're using the right one for your dish. Step 1 in canning sardines: you've got to catch them first. Since sardines are small and travel in schools, large nets are used to haul in big groups all at once. Once they're out of the water, the fish are taken to a processing center where they're sorted and graded. Only the top-tier ones move forward. The selected sardines are then partially cooked, usually by steaming or blanching. This not only keeps them from falling apart, but also makes them ready to eat straight from the can for those who can't wait. After cooking and being paired with a flavoring, like oil, tomato sauce, or spices, the sardines are packed into airtight cans. These cans are then sterilized and briefly heated to eliminate bacteria, extending their shelf life well beyond that of fresh fish. Before labeling, each can is checked again to make sure there's no damage or corrosion. Once everything passes inspection, the cans are labeled, boxed up, and sent off to stores. Thinking about trying sardines? Here's some good news. If you already enjoy canned fish, there's a good chance sardines will be up your alley too. Naturally, they've got a fishy taste. They are fish after all. And they tend to be on the salty side unless you specifically go for a low-sodium option. Compared to anchovies, sardines bring a gentler umami kick, making them a solid pick if you're after a more subtle flavor. Sardines pair wonderfully with tomato-based sauces and are often canned in them. They also complement Mediterranean veggies well, and you'll sometimes find them packed with olives or in peppery sauces. They hold up nicely to heat too. Spicy versions with chili or mustard are common, and smoked varieties offer a richer, bolder flavor. Thanks to the wide range of seasonings they're packed with, sardines can be more versatile than canned tuna, but that variety can be a double-edged sword. Once you pick a flavored can, you're pretty much locked into that taste. If you want more control, stick with the plain ones and doctor them up yourself. Just know that canned sardines have a softer texture and stronger flavor than their fresh counterparts, which tend to be firmer and milder. It all comes down to what kind of seafood experience you're after. Now for the real draw of canned sardines, their impressive nutritional benefits. Just 100 grams delivers nearly 25 grams of protein, along with a hefty dose of omega-3 fatty acids that are great for heart health.
Gram for gram, or pound for pound, however you want to look at it, they are the most omega-3 dense food that you can find. They're great.
Sardines are also a great source of calcium, mostly thanks to their edible bones and skin. Sure, the idea of munching on bones might not sound too appealing, but the nutritional payoff makes it worth getting over that mental hurdle. Luckily, sardine bones are soft and barely noticeable, though you might feel a slight graininess when chewing. It's a far cry from the crunchy bones your dog goes wild for. And if the thought still turns your stomach, you can either remove the bones with kitchen tweezers or spend a little more on cans labeled boneless and skinless. On top of calcium, canned sardines are packed with vitamin B12 and a wide range of other essential nutrients. We're talking phosphorus, potassium, selenium, niacin, vitamins A and E, and even copper. Basically, a built-in multivitamin in fish form. That said, they're not perfect. You'll want to keep an eye on the sodium. A typical serving has over 300 milligrams, and certain varieties with salty sauces can pack in even more. Also, those packed in oil can be higher in fat than you might expect. If you're eating sardines mainly for their health perks, opt for water-packed, low-sodium versions to keep things in check. If you ever find yourself hunkering down in a bunker to ride out nuclear fallout, a zombie apocalypse, or whatever else the world throws your way, it's not a bad idea to stash a few cases of canned sardines. Thanks to the preservation process, these little fish can stay shelf-stable for up to 5 years. The taste might fade a bit and the color may darken over time, but when survival's on the line, flavor isn't exactly the top priority. Like all canned goods, though, it's important to check for any dents, bulges, or damage. If the seal's broken and bacteria gets in, not even fully cooked sardines are safe. Once you've cracked a can open, store the leftovers in the fridge. They'll last about 3 to 4 days before going bad. And hey, props to you if you manage to haul a working fridge down into that bunker. That's some serious commitment. Canned sardines are way more flexible in the kitchen than most people realize, making them a great ingredient for countless dishes. Whether it's adding a punch of fish flavor and extra protein to stews, soups, casseroles, or curries, they fit right in. For something easy, toss them into pasta or salads, or step it up with tasty fish tacos. You can mash them with herbs and spices to create a flavorful dip, skewer them for grilled sardines, or simply pile them on buttered toast for a quick and satisfying snack. Of course, the best way to use them depends on the flavor packed inside the can, but the takeaway is clear. These little fish bring a surprising range of possibilities to your meals.
Great on crackers, great as in salads, on pizza, really anything. I think they're delicious.
Mercury is a major concern when it comes to seafood, especially canned varieties. If you're one of those people who regularly downs a few cans of tuna each week, first off, respect. You clearly love tuna, but it's important to keep an eye on how much mercury you're taking in. The good news? Canned sardines rank among the lowest in mercury content. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, sardines average just 0.013 parts per million of mercury. To put that in perspective, canned light tuna contains about 0.126 parts per million, and canned albacore tuna has nearly 30 times more mercury than sardines. Why do sardines have so little mercury? The explanation gets a bit technical, but stick with me. Sardines are smaller fish, yes, but more importantly, they don't consume other fish that have already accumulated mercury. In contrast, larger fish eat smaller ones, gradually building up higher mercury levels as they age. Seafood can be delicious, but let's be honest, it sometimes has a strong, fishy taste that can overpower everything else. You're not alone if that's a deal breaker. That intense, briny flavor often masks more delicate notes. This is especially true with canned sardines, even when they come packed in sauces meant to soften the taste. Luckily, there's a simple trick to tone down that fishiness. Add some fat. Sardines are commonly packed in olive oil because the extra fat prevents their natural oils from oxidizing, which is what creates that sharp, fishy aroma and flavor. If your sardines aren't already swimming in olive oil, a drizzle of it can help mellow and smooth out their taste. Just don't go overboard, since sardines are already rich in fat. And remember to balance the flavors with a touch of salt and acidity. Opting for sustainable seafood is one of the smartest ways to support ocean health and protect global fish populations, which means you can officially add planet-friendly to the long list of reasons to give canned sardines a try. They're one of the most abundant fish species, and choosing them over more vulnerable options like tuna significantly reduces your environmental impact. But before you go stocking up, there are a few things to keep in mind. While sardines are caught in many parts of the world, the canned versions you see on shelves may have traveled long distances, which adds to their carbon footprint. To reduce this, try to choose sardines that are both caught and canned closer to home. Also, check for the Blue Marine Stewardship Council label, which ensures the fish were sourced responsibly and with sustainable practices. It might take a bit of extra effort, but knowing your sardines were ethically fished makes them all the more satisfying.
We're very interested in sustainability because it's our future.
It's our future.
If we harvest everything, then we have nothing.
And here's the final tip. If we've convinced you to dive into canned sardines, you're probably wondering which brand to try first. Luckily, there are some solid options out there. For quality that's easy to find in most stores, King Oscar and Wild Planet are reliable picks. King Oscar's sardines are known for their creamy, rich texture and meaty, fresh taste. Wild Planet is a great choice if sustainability matters to you. Their olive oil-packed sardines shine, though their water-packed ones can have a slightly metallic taste. If you're up for something a bit more niche, brands like ABC Plus and Fongst offer outstanding flavor, but tend to come with a higher price tag and might be harder to track down. On the flip side, Cento sardines look appealing but fall short flavor-wise because of the lower quality olive oil they use. Likewise, Siesta Company, Roland, and Dubrava sardines aren't the best choices if you want to start your sardine journey off on a high note.